This will be a recording of the special call meeting, October the 3rd, 1966, St. Joseph's Hospital.
The special call meeting for the 5th District will please come to the Executive Board. Please come to order. At this time, we'll have Chaplain Ms. Hammock to give prayer.
Our Father, in the solemnity of this conference room, with the deliberations of this hour before us, make us conscious that Thou art God, that Thou dost love us, and that the ultimate plan of man is redemption and life everlasting. Help us to see the worth of a human soul with its intimate parts. Give us direction. Bless our president. Bless each of us in our, especially in our roles, that we may support, we may honor, we may have trust one for another. Our course may seem difficult, and the perplexities may seem overwhelming, but we know that Thou art able to help us. Bless in this hour, hear our prayer, because we make it in Thy name, and for the good of all concerned. Amen.
At this time, we will have the roll call.
Present.
Miss Frances Hammond.
Present.
Miss Lucy Mays.
Present.
Mrs. Gladys Garland.
Present.
Miss Dana Hudson.
Present.
Miss Charity Wells.
Present.
Sister Louis Mary. Mrs. Jacqueline Graves. Mrs. Inez Stanley.
Present.
Miss Cynthia Mallory.
Present.
Miss Marion Hill.
Present.
Miss Margaret Thornton. Miss Doris Lee. Mrs. Margaret Hasty.
Here.
Mrs. Emily Zerps.
Here.
Mrs. Edith Honeycutt.
She's ill.
She'll be on the Thank you, Carol. Well, welcome new members. We're delighted to have you join us. I believe we should know each other. Let's see, who are our new members? We have Miss Inez Stanley. Mrs. Stanley is in NSA section. And Mrs. Graves, Jacqueline Graves, and you're in EACT. And Sister Mary.
Louis Mary.
Yes, Louis Mary is new on the board. And Miss Pauline English and Mrs. Cynthia Mallory. I believe you are EACT's new chair. Is that correct? And then we have Miss Carol Rogers, who is our new secretary. So we are delighted to meet all of you and have you on the board, and look forward to a good year of work with you together. I'd like to report, while we're talking about the change in members of the board, that maybe with one or two oversights, we have gotten letters, I believe, to all of the members going off the board. And as we learn about, I believe NSA will meet and have their meeting for a chair tomorrow, we'll try to contact those. Ms. Atkins has been very busy trying to help acknowledge those people who have served in committee work and committee chair and on the board. And we will continue to try to get our note of appreciation on behalf of the board to all those who have served. So I would also like to say I appreciate the fine attendance for our special call meeting, and I hope all of you, already new members, are well aware that this is a working board. Miss Atkins sort of lines us up or loads us down with a lot of materials, but we do have a bit to do this afternoon with the appointments of our special and standing committees and all of the affairs for the coming year. So without any more ado, let's move to the appointment of standing and special committees. And I believe all of you received this material prior to your coming today, and I believe she's made copies available. Do you find your blanks for your standing committees? Your forms for so that we may move into this. And I have also a copy of last year's special call meeting to appoint for the same committees. So I will try to share with you those persons who served last year, as well as prior to hearing the nominations for these standing committees. So if we're ready, we'll start with the program committee, and the chair of that is our second vice president, who serves as chairman, and we're needing 5 members. And Miss Hammett had serving with her last year Mrs. Nancy Mahaffey, Mrs. Madeline Wade, Mrs. Mabel Potter, Mrs. Dorothy Wood, and Miss Mary Gamage. So may we hear the nominations or suggestions for this committee?
So may I tell you that I better give you one of these, because some of those on that one, I sent that minutes so you would know, yes, so you would know about the policy that they voted in last year, the repetition. Let me give you this copy to read, because in January we found I had them completed.
Yes. Check, I did give you the right names, all of them. And the recommendations of last year was that no member, this came from a section, and the board accepted them. I don't know whether this board is wishing to entertain all of them or not, but they are basic, I believe, to committee appointments. No member to serve on more than 2 committees, and if possible, appoint a new graduate on each committee, and rotate committee members each year insofar as possible or practical, and no members to be chairman of more than 1 committee. So these came to us from a section and were pretty generally accepted by the board. They were accepted by the then board, and as far as I know, we can entertain such a program in thinking of our appointments for these committees. Do you wish to discuss these recommendations of last year, or add, or?
Madam Chairman, we followed those last year, didn't we?
We did, yes.
I'd like to move that we follow them again this year.
I second it.
All right. Is there, have a motion to follow the recommendations regarding committee appointments as we followed last year, and it's been second. Is there discussion? All in favor of the motion to follow these recommendations for committee appointments, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Then the motion is carried. Then I'm ready to have your names submitted for approval. I'd like to suggest Ms. Pearson. Is that Helen Pearson?
Across the long graduate.
Yes, Helen Pearson.
Madam Chairman, I'd like to suggest Mrs. Sandra Mock, M-O-C-K. She is a fairly recent graduate and has done real good stuff.
Very good. Thank you. Are there other names?
Jean Alford.
Jean Alford.
Madam Chairman, all members that served on this committee last year were enthusiastic, alert, diligent, pursuing, so if there's any interest on the part of anyone, it's in any of them. Before you is very model members, worthy of any consideration, service on this committee or any other.
I just wondered if Miss Hammond had somebody in mind that she would like to have work with her that was on the committee last year.
We're all joined. It'd be hard for me to designate one over another, they just work splendidly.
I would name Mary Gamage. She seemed particularly enthusiastic. She was one of the new graduates of last year.
Gamage.
Will not be considered a new graduate any longer, I believe.
Oh, no. I'd like to suggest Mabel Shirley.
Mabel Shirley.
She's education.
We have had 5 members named for this committee, program committee. Are there other names? Then we'll move to the next standing committee, and please, if you think of other names, I see no reason how we might not come back to your suggestions. For the printing committee, we need 3 members, and our own secretary serves. And last year, we had Carolyn Atkins to serve as, you were served as chair, did you not? And Jean Alford and Anna Hooper for the printing committee. May I have your...
Ms. Atkins, isn't this one that you almost really need to be in on?
Well, I consult the printers, and I grew up in the
Yeah.
newspaper office. I'm not an editor by any means, but
I'd like to nominate Ms. Atkins.
I'll be glad to take it.
Blake.
Fifth District, it's office secretary. Betty Blade.
Let's see, Carol Rogers needs to be on there.
She's
don't
on, yes, automatically goes on there.
So we just.
We've got
Well,
a,
then I'm in error. She just asked, was it recorded? I'm sorry. Both of you, sir, right?
yes,
All right.
she serves automatically by the bylaws, and incidentally, we have our seal, we were hoping to have some new stationery when we have more money. We were just holding out on that to revise our letterhead. Using the seal, the 50th seal.
Just in case the president advising parliamentarian wrong. Please forgive me.
I'd like to nominate Carol Rittenhouse.
On the printing committee.
C-R-O-L-E, she's fairly new nurse.
I like to spell with Carol.
R-I-T-T-E-N-H-O-U-S-E.
Carol Rittenhouse.
Rittenhouse.
Yeah.
I got a Rittenhouse and a rafter in my hand.
You do.
Building for the future.
Are there other names? Now, we have fulfilled the requirements for the printing. We move to the finance committee.
Miss Nancy Mahaffey. Miss Lucy Mays.
We need 3 members, and we need to name which one of these as chair. I will read you the members of last year's committee. Miss Mays chaired this, and Francis Off, and Sister Langford, and Sister Lewis Mary.
That's typographical error on the system from Ms. Langford, she's occupational health. We are sorry.
I'd like to nominate Sister Christian.
I'd like to nominate Miss Margaret Wicker.
Who was that?
Margaret Wicker.
I'd like to nominate Miss Margaret Hale.
Margaret Hale.
She's not a member.
Well, she's still
I mean,
on
no,
the
Marion, that's Marion Hill.
Mary.
But you already got 4 on finance. Have I got?
Let me see if we're limited here.
Three.
Treasurer, sir.
Shall consist of 3 members, including the treasurer.
3 members.
One of these might refuse.
3 members and includes the treasurer.
Oh, we got 5
places actually.
Yes, we only have 2 places. We'll have to back up here, I'm sorry. Our bylaws limit us to 2,
3 members.
3
including the
members,
treasurer.
including the treasurer, and that would by nature include Miss Mace, and we need 2 names. And the first 2 names, Miss Mahaffey was the first name that I heard, and then Miss Mace, which is automatically, and then Sister Christian. So we would need to erase Mrs. Wicker's name, and we need to appoint one of these people
Miss Hudson.
as chair.
I would move
Is there any discussion to this? Ms. Hammett has suggested that Ms. Mace be named as chair of this committee.
Generally, the same applies for number 2 and 3, it would be 3 members including
Printing should consist of 3 members.
Then we need Miss Wicker.
And your
No.
race secretary should be a member of this.
No, we're talking about printing just now.
No, Finance.
and see.
Finance.
And Blake.
Finance.
And you like that to bring that.
And so we have Ms. Rittenhouse.
Oh. So now, how are you going to elect
Where does elect come in there? Now bylaws?
Yeah, in your bylaws,
Well, we've always appointed them.
it says elect.
Well, I guess that's when they do more than one, they start electing them.
Well, it's just like you have 4 here now. Some of these other names that have been suggested, someone may want one over the other one. But when you automatically strike it out because it hadn't been said first, you aren't giving that person a fair chance if you say elect.
We in the past have, the problem is, we've in the past appointed committees and the parliamentarians bring, and this
Look
is
under-
how we're
look
referring
under your-
to our
look under
bylaws.
your
It's
duties
the
of the
numbers
board.
of, we're trying to follow
The duties
them.
of the board, look at your Article 11, and, duties of the board of directors, 9, elect all standing and special committees. Now, of course, you can elect in any method that you may want to elect, but it does say elect. So that's the point. Now, you can't just automatically say, well, she wants names, and just throw that name out when it does say elect, because one may be for this one, and you may have 2 for another one, and it isn't being, you aren't being democratic.
Let's move back up to the printing, and again, make an effort to follow our bylaws, which are, can
There's
be,
3, consists of 3.
yes.
Ms. Pope, are we talking about printing or finance? We didn't have an extra one on printing, did we?
Yes, yes,
Did
we do. And,
Does the 3 members include the secretary or 3 members
No.
plus the
The secretary, the committee on printing shall consist of 3 members and shall have charge of all printing and stationery approved by the board of directors. The secretary shall be a member of this committee.
So we got 1 too many.
Oh,
we have 4 names.
See, when you have a shall in there, it doesn't mean maybe.
Shall.
Yeah, it is.
We have Carolyn Atkins serving, we have named as chair, and then the names Betty Blake and Carol Rogers and Carol Rittenhouse have been named.
Now, Rogers.
Carol Rogers is secretary, so she has to be on.
Automatically.
So it seems that the members of the board need to elect either Betty Blake or Carolyn,
Could I
Carol
withdraw?
Rittenhouse.
Could I withdraw Miss Rittenhouse name?
I feel that in order, yes. Yes. And then we should look at this finance, committee once again, and, in which we have, again, the same, ruling that we have 3 members, and the treasurer shall be 1 member. So, we just took off the last name, and since it was named, let's move back to that, in which we have Nancy Mahaffey, Miss Mace, by nature of being treasurer, would be automatically Sister Christian and Margaret Wicker. The board members need to elect 2 of these 3 names.
Hale was nominated.
Yes, yes. Never did get that one down. Sorry, thank you.
thank you.
Well, I know last year was the first time that we did that. It's always been 3
I'll be down here.
until last year, and I never understood why we had the 4.
She meant
I never
good.
thought that was her person.
That'll save that confusion.
We have 4 names: Nancy Mahaffey, Sister Christian Christian, Margaret Wicker, and Marion Hale.
Miss Hale said she would.
Serve on another committee.
That's removing my name.
I might have to consult with the parliamentarian and see if that's democratic.
She's withdrawn.
Well, is she may withdraw.
she may
Oh,
Well, I would,
Decline the
yeah,
nomination.
nomination. Yeah.
Well, but I mean, she can decline the nomination.
Okay, that's fair.
We need to elect,
That Hale off.
yes, two of the three, Nancy Mahaffey, Sister Christian, and Margaret Wicker. How would you like to vote on this?
I thought someone withdrew, Wicker's name before.
No, that was on the printing that withdrew.
Oh.
They did withdraw Wicker's name.
Then the Wicker's name was
Who?
withdrawn.
Miss,
I don't
Wells
know, I think Miss
nominated.
Wells did.
No, I didn't
No,
withdraw.
You didn't? I thought you did. But that's all right.
I don't know who nominated her.
She withdrew the Rittenhouse on.
She declined to serve on that last year. Wasn't she appointed on those minutes last year, Miss, of course, she may change her mind this year.
Yes, and I think maybe we better not check that out. How would you wish to vote? By secret ballot?
Yes.
Have some paper.
What, any,
Could be just
You all have the three names, if you would vote two.
Mahaffey, Christian, and Wicker?
And we're supposed to get two of
Mahaffey, Christian, Wicker, two. Do we vote for two? Is that what?
Two
we
of the
did? Write
three.
the two names we wish?
Yes, please, and I'll call them off again, in just a moment when everyone gets paper. And I need to appoint a teller. Ms. Hammond, I wonder if you might, serve and, Ms. Hale, would you also serve with Ms. Hammond? Ms. Hammond, if you
Yes,
would chair and give us to, I think so, for tallying of the votes.
And you want just the two names we want.
Yes, we, each
You have
of
to
you
have
have your,
two names.
ballot. We have, Nancy Mahaffey, Sister Christian, and Margaret Wicker. Vote for the two that you would like to have on the Finance Committee. You would elect.
It's nice when you use an ashtray and
Collection plate.
that's kind of neat now. It's
And
a
the
little
teller,
one.
and the teller's getting the
I
vote.
think I'm gonna suggest they get little ones like this.
Excuse me,
now.
you put it there.
So you can just put a penny in, and see, it won't look so little.
good members that are serving as tellers gonna miss out on some good stuff.
You know, better hurry.
Well, you got good representation, we'll be fast. We got your name?
You got them all, you break some of these things. Does everybody vote?
I think so.
Now here again, it says, and she is automatically changed, and you've got to stick on it. It says shall consist of 5 members.
It seems, if I remember correctly, last year we went on the assumption that this meant at least that many, you know, and then we just added others.
Yes.
We
Yeah,
just
yeah.
misinterpreted it.
May I answer that just a second? So many times, so unless you follow this to the letter,
Yes.
you can get some group, I'm not talking about you all,
Yeah.
but you can get some group that will interpret to add, and they always add the ones that are very, go along with them always, and
I-
that's no
I
trouble. you
understand
see.
that.
Good.
And that's the reason you
Yeah.
can't go beyond what's in your bylaw.
But I think we're gonna find we've got more on nearly every committee from last year.
Yes,
Well, I think it's good to have it right.
we're
Once.
pointing
I
out
think so,
here
too.
also that we have the same problem
For
in
one thing.
program. But I think if we might move along and come back to this, we do need to deal with the number one. And I'll try to be more attentive here with the bylaws so that we don't name ourselves here on this. Now, we've moved to the legislative committee and
Various occupational groups.
Yes.
And each various occupational groups.
the committee on legislation shall consist of at least 5 members. The committee shall be representative of various occupational groups in nursing.
Now that, you see, you have, shall consist of
At least.
so the 5 is your minimum number there. You have more that needed to be represented, you need to add.
Yes. And then last year, Ms. Alda Ditchfield chaired that, and Alice Morgan served, Dana Hudson, Donna Tumlin, and Pauline English. So, we're ready for your
Yeah, I did something. I had these dates for
names for the legislative committee.
I'd like to nominate Alda Ditchfield for the chairman.
Madam Chairman, I think she refused.
Didn't she write in her report?
She served
In
on
her,
the
re-
committee.
yeah, but in her report, it
She
seems
asked
to me,
Yeah.
Yes,
I'd
she
like-
made
Right.
some,
I withdraw it, I
That a
remember.
new chairman be appointed.
Yeah, the new
yes, she
chairman
made
did.
this recommendation,
The fact that you
that
had
a new
many
chairman
like
be
that.
appointed.
I'd like to recommend Dorothy Barfield.
As
Public-
chair,
As chairman for public health. You said occupational group.
she's from public health.
Did y'all already count that? What about the grant?
I've got, ever since I learned about Jacqueline Graves, Helen Graves at Emory, I'd like to nominate her for this committee.
Helen Graves is NSA section.
Elizabeth Eden.
Private things I call.
I'd like to nominate Bernice Dixon.
Bernice Dixon.
She's EACT.
General duty and occupational health.
Yes, we
There's
need
some
an
new ones on
occupational
there, too.
health, and we need general duty to name.
Langford from occupational health, is an equal.
Yes.
Ms. Langford,
Elizabeth. Always think of Elizabeth.
Is Helen Graves NSA?
Mhm.
You need a general duty.
Ms. Tumlin served on that last year, and I believe was pretty active, and as a new graduate, if the group would like to entertain Ms. Tumlin, would give us a newer graduate as well as a person who served before, Donna Tumlin.
Donna
General duty. Pardon?
On this, she's more.
Yes, she was at the time, but she's in school and does, general duty, staff nursing, part-time. She's in school full-time.
There's 5 members of this group,
Yes,
at least.
at least. Now, we may name others if the members wish to name others. We can do so as far as the bylaws are. Are there other? Then we'll move to membership and credentials. And we are involved here. It shall consist of 5 or more members of this association representing various occupational groups in nursing. And last year, Dorothy Woods chaired this, Sister Rebecca, and Holly, Nellie, Kate Hopper, Virginia Deere, Dolores Miller, Norma Gentry, Evelyn Maddox, Bernice Dixon, and Ernest Stanley. And I believe that the members should remember that the assistant directors of nurses were asked to be on this in hopes that it would add to the membership as far as institutional nursing. Is that not?
Yes, they had a motion. I didn't find it, but they did move, and it was adopted that it, as much as possible, that they would include the assistant director.
Or someone from
About
service.
you and things like that, but they just.
So that does explain, and we need 5 or more.
Well, Mrs. Wood gave me permission to put her name back as chairman if the group wanted her. She served the 1 year and said they had just got started and maybe they could do better this coming year.
Would it be possible to have that whole committee back? No?
Well, one of them didn't join. Norma Gentry would have to get off because she didn't renew membership.
Oh.
And, I believe.
Sister
and
Rebecca's
Sister
gone.
Rebecca has
Oh,
transferred.
well, maybe we could have some of them back, cause I think
It
it would
was
be
a
for
good committee,
continuity
and they had-
of service if we could.
But you just voted to replace it.
Do we have to replace them all?
Ms. Stanley.
Rotate
Yeah.
committee members each year insofar as practical.
Well, let's
Ms.
keep the
Dixon did
chairman.
not go to a meeting during the time. Bernice Dixon, she was unable to attend, and Norma Gentry did not attend. The others were all attending.
I think probably of all of our committees, we probably had more meetings of this group, this committee, than any committee that we did have meeting. They had 7 meetings last year, did they not?
At least 5.
5, I think.
Yes.
I remember definitely that being read at the meeting, 5 meetings. If you people remember, that was what the report said, 5 meetings.
Would it be in order to nominate Ms. Hooker at the registry?
Yes.
Why not? She certainly
I
would know these nurses.
INA Hooker.
Anna Hooker. This does not, the last year's membership in no way should bind the members as I see it, or election of members. We had, Dorothy Woods, this had been named, and she has consented to serve. Does this meet the members?
I second that nomination. I think
Then-
she's very good.
I move that Ms. Stanley goes back on.
I move that Ms. Deere go back.
I would suggest Mel Woodall.
I move that Mr. Dolores Butler go back on. Thank you,
You mean Miller?
Miller,
Butler,
Miller,
is that
I'm
it?
calling you.
Now, I didn't get yours, Woodall, and
Nell
Nell
Woodall.
What section is she, Miss Hannah?
Nursing services.
Ms. B. Montgomery.
We can have more than five.
Miss Holly was one of the
Okay,
she
that's
was
right.
asked that she was anybody in the whole district last year by getting George Baptist to come back.
I think that was one reason why Miss
May I
suggested
have your
having
attention?
Excuse me.
We have Dorothy Woods Chair listed. These are the names I have thus far. Anna Hooker, private duty. Anna Stanley, NSA, Virginia Deer, private duty. Nell Woodall, NSA, and B. Montgomery, and I'm not sure her.
She's in Essendon.
Miller's public health.
No, she's, not public health, she's with the Veterans Administration.
Oh, she is. Well, I think she puts herself in the public
She
health.
attended.
Well, she just changed job.
Oh,
What's her first
She
name?
attended.
Deloria, Deloria, Deloria Miller. But she's with Veterans.
Virginia.
She's not public.
She attended all the meetings.
Yes.
We have 7 names. We may have others if the members wish.
I'm in class with Miss Holly. I was in class with Miss Holly.
Dear.
Mrs. Holly.
This is Ann Holly, isn't it?
How many more do you want?
It's too hard to get them together. We have too many.
She had 10 last time, and with the exception of 2 or 3, her attendance was very, very good.
What about that Mary Gaiman?
Or do we have anyone from San Joseph and DeKalb and Piedmont?
Ruth
I have
Henley
not.
pulled the piano, did you want more?
My name Carol Rittenhouse.
Mary Gaiman from South Fulton, she spoke so softly, you ought to.
Good name Carol Rittenhouse. From Public Health.
How do you spell her name?
J-Y-M-O-N, Gaiman.
That gives us 10 names again. Carol Rittenhouse. Oh, I didn't get it. Ruth Henley was named also.
I withdraw because you have 10 minutes.
Are there other names? Then we'll move to the public relations,
Ms.
committee.
Hale said she'd serve on that.
Mary Hale, Chair.
We
I nominate her for chair.
all right. We have consist of 5 members, one of whom shall be the secretary of this association.
Could I nominate Marilyn Rosecrans?
I had Marion Hale as chair,
Dearies Hanson.
Marilyn Rosecrans, Doris Hanson,
Agnes Sutter.
And Mary Colquitt.
wait
We're
just a
getting too
moment.
many.
We have, if we take Mayor Cochran, it'll give us 1 too many. We can only have 5, and the secretary, so we need 4.
I'll withdraw that.
Ms. Cochran. Then let's go over 'em once again. We have Marion Hanson, and Agnes Senna.
Carol Rogers.
And, oh, yes. And then the nominations, committee, in our bylaws call for the chair of this committee to be elected at annual meeting, and Mrs. Charlotte Sachs was elected. And, we shall consist of 7, and we already have Charlotte Sachs as chair. So we need to name 6 members for the nomination.
I'd like to nominate Barbara Finlayson.
Here.
I'd like to nominate Margaret Armstrong.
I'd like to nominate Ms. Zerbs.
You said Margaret Armstrong, didn't you?
I'd like to nominate Annie Pearl Welch.
Couldn't get that.
Annie Pearl Welch.
Well,
Welch.
Oh, well.
W-E-L-S-H.
W-L-C-H.
C-H. And
Well, Pearl Austin changed it. Annie. That's not Annie Pearl Austin changed it. No. White. Annie Pearl.
we need
Well, I
2
know she
additional
changed.
members.
How about one of our new ones?
Do you have your list of new, graduates?
We sent them to all the directors of nursing service and also the deans of the school, asking to give us some ideas on the time was short, make some suggestions of outstanding ones, and we got 3 of them back this morning, just making some suggestions of that. Students, we didn't know them.
Oh, I don't have any.
I'd like to nominate Martha or Reed from the new group.
Martha, the last name I didn't get.
Reed, R-E-E-D. It's R-E-A-D on here.
I'd like to nominate Ruth Smith.
Ruth Smith.
That, would complete our, requirements for that committee. We move now to the bylaws committee.
I'd like to nominate Margaret Hasty as chairman.
I'll
Right.
second the motion.
I need to check just a moment here on our, I think, we're sort of open on that committee as well as,
And where is she?
here it is. At least 3, yes,
Miss Dana Hudson.
Jean Copeland.
Ruth Bryce.
Can't have it 3.
Oh, you want
At
these?
least 3.
Oh,
Yes, you may name others. The bylaws do not, set a limit. They state at least 3.
I'd like to nominate Miss Garland.
Genevieve Jones.
We have 6 names. Miss Hasty, Chair, Miss Hudson, Miss Copeland, Miss Rice, Miss Garland, and Mrs. Jones. Are there other names?
Copeland, Jean Copeland.
Jean Copeland.
For the Field House
large committee together. We experienced that last time.
Yes.
So,
Yes, we had 9 members last time, I believe. Could we have 6 named this time? A little more workable, maybe. Miss Hudson had a hard time getting. I believe we did have 9, didn't we? Yes.
Yes.
Move to the registry committee, and I'll try to explain this as best that we can. I believe in '65 we had new names, and last year we elected, or we decided, the board members decided which members of the registry committee would be retired from the committee in 1966, 67, and 68, because they had all been newly appointed, and in order to take care of our at least 9 and 1/3 appointed each year, we had, the board members had to last year decide which ones would retire, and they were elected to retire as of this year. So we had, presently, you will see the members and those that are due for retirement, including the administrative representative, Ann Holly, giving us 4 names starred, will need replacements. So we need to have names for the appointments here.
And in private duty nurses section, we asked to submit a list of private duty nurses to the board of directors guide for that selection.
Yes. And that's my.
They did not submit a
Somebody
list.
gave it to me.
That's what they didn't submit a list.
To us.
I just realized the parliamentarian has my copy,
You gave
my
it
work
to me.
copy of the bylaws, where I was to ask the private duty nurse section to submit a list of private duty nurse members to the board as a guide for their selection. I did not fulfill that requirement, so we do need to give some thought here. Our chair of our private duty section is here, and possibly can lend us some support.
Wheeler to replace Miss Pearson. I don't know if she'll accept or not, because I hadn't asked.
Evelyn.
Madam Chairman, it would help me, I don't know about the rest of you, if we knew which ones of these on the committee are private duty. Says the majority of the people on this committee should be private duty nurses. And we have 4 people going off, and what does that leave? I mean, are we gonna get out of proportion
Well, the
here?
administrator has to go back, they'll go to the next hospital while the nurses.
Which is the next
Which is
hospital?
Georgia Baptist, what comes after Georgia Baptist?
It's ABCD.
DeKalb,
Crawford Law.
DeKalb General
stops
won't it
See,
be? I think it'd be DeKalb General, be D, won't it?
Georgia Baptist must be going on G then.
The B.
Yes,
DeKalb.
Crawford, and then
Crawford
Emory, and
starts
then
there.
Georgia Baptist, so it'd be DeKalb General.
That comes before Georgia.
Wait.
Comes before G, doesn't it?
Like
Judge
Margaret
is
Ford. Margaret Ford.
Margaret Ford, go in this Hannah's place.
Margaret
She's
Ford is
DeKalb
at
General.
DeKalb.
DeKalb General.
She left David.
So we have Margaret Ford from DeKalb General for the administrative representative.
Miss Wheeler, was
What's her first
Yeah,
name?
Well, we can name Miss Pearson again if we want to, or if she not, an alternate be Wheeler,
Where is she from?
Crawford Lawn. They are both from Crawford Lawn. Somebody will have to help out on
Miss
St.
Pearson
Joseph.
has been very active in she was at convention, has been very active.
Who?
Miss Pearson. Has she not?
Yes, she's been to the meetings, but, I'd like to nominate Miss Connor to go back if she will. I don't know whether she will or not, whether she'll consent to it or not.
I'd like to suggest Miss Hammond.
Where's Miss Connor from?
Oh, I mean St. Joseph. St. Joseph, no.
Now, we can have that
And
number
Bronson should
at
automatically
least
be
now.
off, cause she's never been to any of the meetings.
Well, Miss
And
Hammond would go to
wasn't she
her
from-
name.
Supposed to
Hammond.
have
But
been
she's
to
going
the
off in
Piedmont.
66, doesn't she?
Georgia, I think.
Miss Hammond.
What they doing, something.
Yeah, but I've already suggested Miss Hammond, that would be enough.
Let's see, I'm not sure I got all of them. Elizabeth Wheeler.
Evelyn.
Evelyn, where is
Excuse me.
She said Helen Pearson or Evelyn Wheeler, if Helen didn't accept it.
All right. And Miss Connor to remain on,
Yes, ma'am.
and then Frances Hammond.
I thought someone,
Does that leave you
gave
with
the
one?
name of Margaret Ford.
Probably is.
That was over in
Holly's
the.
place.
To replace Ann Hall, excuse me.
That won't be a
Are there
problem.
other names? Then we will move to the advisory committee to the registry.
it? Automatic.
And that's automatic, I believe.
But you need a chairman and a nurse, a member, and a nurse station, a member
How about-
representing private duty nurse.
Yes, we need, this board is charged with the responsibility to appointing a member representing the medical profession and a member representing private duty nurses. So we need, in your,
Does the medical society, Madam Chairman, choose who they wanna represent?
No, the group choose, they're the ones that selected Dr. Davis.
He attended the one meeting, we haven't called him for any other meetings.
Alice Morgan.
It's private duty.
for the
nurse.
private duty,
Miss who?
Alice Martin.
She's the chairman, Did you select for the chairman?
I would
For the chairman.
suggest Helen Graves for the chairman.
I had suggested Dr. Davis, because it's more interested in nurses and more comfortable.
So we'll have to vote, won't we? Graves and
What about Dr. Joseph Wilson?
John,
John Wilson?
John Wilson.
Joe, isn't he the one that is working?
John Wilson.
John Wilson.
John Wilson's the one with,
John Wilson's who I mean.
the surgeon. With Dr.
Oh,
She served on two committees.
Can't be the chairman.
That's, she has
She's
not
not
been
chairman of the
appointed
board.
chairman, I don't believe. That's in
No,
order.
she was not.
Helen Graves as chair would be in order as far as our voting.
And Alice Morgan.
And Alice Morgan and Dr. John Wilson are the names that I've heard. That's in order with our bylaws, or unless there are other names that you wish to review and discuss as
Was
far as.
Helen Graves,
As chairman.
nominated for chairman?
Yes.
Thank you. Getting behind in the writing
And then the official publications,
That committee
committee we didn't appoint last year, Ms. Watts told us to go ahead and just leave it off, that we get it changed in our bylaws, since we do all the work in the headquarters. But we're going strictly as much as we can by the bylaws, so until we get them changed, we have included this three.
Yes,
They don't do anything on that except that they try to publicize it wherever they are. I mean, the work is done.
So we have bylaws that states that we have 3 or more members of a official publications standing committee. So if we might have your names to name to this.
Miss Adkins is chairman.
I can't
You can't?
no, I'm already on printing, so I couldn't be chairman on
Miss
that.
Charity Wells.
And that has reference to the district meter?
No, it just has to do with AJN subscriptions.
Oh.
And we do
You did
all
that
the work.
once.
You did it once, I mean, you had it.
Not very long ago,
Miss Catherine Fitzpatrick.
How about a new girl? We haven't, we forget about.
The other keep getting
Let's
us
leave it
something.
alone.
You have to get 20 Got your name go on there, you have to work to go on there.
Well, it wouldn't, I mean, I'm gonna do the work anyhow.
Well, that's what I know, so just, well, instead of putting more people on.
Only new ones on there.
Roseanne Jones.
What new person?
Roseanne Jones.
Roseanne Jones, all right.
Roseanne Jones. Now, that completes our standing committees now. And before we move from this, we need to go back and go to our special committees. Which we had to and you have, we might go back, I'm trying to see which committee, if it's on the finance committee. So if we may have the teller's report for the members of the finance committee, I would appreciate having it at this time.
Yes, ma'am. There were 15 votes cast, legal votes. Sister Christian, 13, Mrs. Griffith, 12, and Mrs. Parker, 5. Respectfully submitted, Mary Francis Adkins.
All right, then the chair declares the finance committee to be chaired by Lucy Mace and Sister Christian and Margaret Whipper as members. Now, we have back up at the program number 1. I believe that's the one we overdid ourselves in having additional member here. The program committee shall consist of 5 members, the chairman of whom shall be the second vice president. And we have elected 6 members, and we need to have a disposition for 5 members. The chair is Miss Hammett. We have Miss Helen Pearson, Sandra Mock, Jean Alford, Mary Gamage, and Mabel Sherlin.
General duty.
General duty. Jean Alford is private duty, Mary Gamage is NSA, and Mabel Sherlin is public health.
That'll help us in voting.
And it's,
All right. Then we'll need to vote again in order to have,
She's on the red shirt.
is that the only place that we have her?
We don't vote, we don't vote for Miss Hammond now, we vote
No.
1, 2, 3, 4 of the 5
yes, does everybody have a slip for voting, one each? Then we need to vote for 4 of the 5 names that you have written in.
Shirley or Shirley? She's probably Shirley.
It gives us a collection. I have been appointed. Somebody, this is somebody.
I'm sorry that I didn't
spell her name.
catch these
Gammage,
in
Gammage.
time to,
She was on the committee, right?
Correct, but anyway, I think that.
It's a hard name, I wish it could be Jones or something.
Who? I don't see anything wrong with it, she likes it.
again, serve you.
I'm gonna send you that grammar school.
I'm threatened that.
I did, and finding A-L-S-O, finding A-L-S-O.
Yeah, I gave you enough. If we may move on for the sake of timing here to the special committees. We would, I should say that we will need to come back to the standing committees to complete the program committee and for a final vote on the names as elected. Careers Committee, and I think this is special, and I think we probably can use more of our last year for a guide and maybe members who were here. The Careers Committee was chaired by Evangeline Lane and Miss Genevieve Jones, Mabel Sherlin, Louise Ann Smith, Lois Northey, Diana Tomlin, and Libby Siegel. And we had 6 members in the chair, total of 7 on the Careers Committee last year, and we made an effort to get occupational sections at that time also, I believe. Yes, the state has said that at least 3 members from various geographical and occupational groups in nursing.
We have it in the manual too, in setting up the criteria for that nurse of the year, that they voted on the occupation.
That's been discontinued though.
That part, yes, the nurse of the year part. But the committee hasn't, it's
No.
still in the
No, the
manual.
committee,
Yeah, can still function.
I'd like to nominate Cynthia Maurer, chairman.
No, I'm doing
Ms. Mallory declined.
I'd like to nominate Elaine Mullins from EAC, from Emory.
Elaine who?
Mullins, Elaine Mullins.
As chair, Jack,
I'd like to nominate Jackie Graves.
Well, we same.
Nancy Mahaffey.
Yeah. Nancy Mahaffey. Well, I say I don't know everybody in these.
Mary Colquitt.
What's the last name?
COLQIW.
I'd like to nominate Daisy Mohead.
What section are these, so we can know how we're going?
Public health.
Mary Colquitt is,
listed NSA, but she's an officer in general duty.
she has been helping, the general duty get organized, I believe, and, has been, very attentive in the general duty section. She's listed in the NSA.
About Elaine Mullins, what section is she in?
EACT.
Then you need an occupational health, if you want to.
Is Mrs. Nylon active, remember? I'd like to nominate her. Mrs. Nylon from Colonial Stores
That's right.
in occupational
Oh,
health.
yes, yes, NIOLON, yes.
Rebecca.
Rebecca,
NIOLON. Like nylon hosiery.
I'd like Sister Louis Mary.
Elaine Mullins.
on careers.
Jackie
Please.
Graves.
I thought we had enough before. We had 6 before that.
Oh, excuse me, I forgot they.
All right, I'll withdraw that one off.
We may have as many as we need, or as many as the group would elect. We're not, bound.
Oh, we're not bound?
No. Let me read the names that I have.
I'll put it back.
Miss Elaine Mullins, and I did not get whether or not I got EACT, but, we need to think in terms of a chairman. I didn't know whether you wish to name her as chair.
I think so.
All right, as chair. And then Miss Graves, Jacqueline Graves, EACT. Nancy Mahaffey, private duty. Mary Colquitt is listed as NSA, but she has served always in general duty. And Daisy Moorhead, public health. Rebecca Nolan, occupation health, and Sister Louis Mary, NSA.
Won't that make too many?
As many as you want.
Excuse me, I must go to sleep.
Do we need others? Are there others to be named? That is 7 names. And we had 7 on the committee last year. Miss Lane had 2 or 3 meetings, I believe, and had a good committee last year. Then we moved to the insurance committee. Last year, we appointed Catherine Fitzpatrick as chair, and Marie Jones and Alice Freeman served on that committee with her.
Can I tell you one thing about that committee? The chairman mentioned in that it takes some time for you to get familiar with the insurance program. And she feels as if she just got started.
Who was that?
Ms. Fitzpatrick.
Ms. Fitzpatrick served last year.
Put her back as chairman.
She did a good job.
Yes.
Gave her a poke.
She worked a lot behind the scene. If I might suggest, I believe we did have someone, I'm not sure, she expressed some concern about, the various offers, and of course the private practice nurse, those that are affiliated with, institutions and, city, organizations have, many of them, the group built-in insurance programs. So if we might, in fairness to our private practice nurse, try to have someone to serve on this and help in following up on any offers for an insurance program for nurses.
About Ernestine Phillips.
Sister Mary Naomi. Naomi.
That gives us 3, which is the number we had last year, but again, I believe we may add.
Miss Jones, Mrs. Jones can school very well in insurance too.
Marie Jones.
You have to have people that know the language.
Yes. The parliamentarian was just sharing with me that she's working with the National Insurance.
She's president of the International Insurance Women.
Who is that?
Margaret Oxford in Atlanta is president of the International Insurance Women, and I mentioned that you all were trying to find out something about insurance, in particular, I thought for private duty from what I had gathered, and she told me that if I would give her the name, that she'd be glad to contact her and let her know what she.
Some man already contacted me. But you can't, shoot, you talk to them about it and they don't pay no attention.
I was trying to do my good deed.
They should be interested in it, if they don't seem to, they'll say my husband has
She
it.
is, but she is that whole national office. Yes.
They might need some too to leave the house.
Partial.
Poor old thing, he might be so old he couldn't work. He just on his Social Security and one leg.
We're back to, let me give you the names that I have for the insurance. Catherine Fitzpatrick, chair. I didn't get the first name. Ernestine Phillips, Sister Mary Naomi, and Marie Jones to make up the insurance committee. And then to the economic and general welfare.
We have never had
We have never had a committee.
In order to make that, in order to get it in the minutes, I move that we have a committee on economic and general welfare.
Seconded.
That is, you're recommending as a,
And I got
special
the chairman
committee.
sitting right here by me.
Ms. Hudson, they also recommended that this was recommended to us from the state. We don't have it in writing here, but they also recommended that we have a National Defense and Disaster Committee.
Well, but you take
You wanna
care
do
of
that one separately?
Well, it's all right if you wanna make it a double motion, if the parliamentarian will let us, why, okay. If not, why, we can do it when we get
No,
to
I
it.
think you could create 2 committees in one motion.
It recommended to us that we do it.
yes, we had, if you all will remember, we had a letter, from the state chair of the National Defense and Disaster, Committee requesting us to, give some attention to this. And,
I think it's high time,
Yes.
it should have a committee.
yes.
We've never had.
I'd like to nominate Ms. English on the economic and general. Are we to that?
Well, I was,
Oh,
got
sorry.
her the chair.
Not at this point.
Sister
We're
Mary
getting-
Lewis said she'll do the chairmanship of that.
Ms. English is gonna be your first assistant. Ms. Sister.
We have,
Lewis.
we're getting a motion now that we
Kinda
establish
late getting ahead of us.
economic and general welfare
And nursing and
and,
national.
nursing and national defense and disaster committees as special committees. We've not, had such committees on a district level.
Maybe that's what we need. Question.
We had a second on that also, did we not?
I second.
Ms. English second. Then all in favor of the establishment of special committee for the economic and general welfare and nursing and national defense and disaster, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Then, the motion is carried. Now, we can, entertain the, names for appointments to these committees.
Sister Mary Lewis for chairman.
Ms. English, number 2.
But most orders have the Mary before the name. She's the first one I ever heard that has
They ran out of
the name
names.
before
I
the
had
name.
to turn around.
That's the reason why everybody gets it backwards.
Yes.
I would suggest Martha Davis.
Davis. Now, we have 3 named. Of course, we do not have any limits here. If there are others that the members wish to name.
Let me change my nomination, because she said she couldn't say her, let it be Miss Brochure.
Brochure on economic and general.
What's her first name? Pass that over.
I had not heard another name earlier. Maybe.
I had said Lois Norther, but she had said she couldn't say it.
Yes, all right. What's Miss Brochure's first name?
Pass that up to the secretary.
B-R-O-S-C-H-A-T, Juanita.
Juanita. All right, that gives us 4 names for the economic and general welfare. Are you ready to move to the National Defense and Disaster Committee? Yes, I'm gonna move to that.
Is Clara Coppage in this, district?
She's with Bath, no,
With
the
CDC?
CDC.
Or Alice Clark, either one, if they were, I would nominate one of them for chairman.
Which one, nursing and national defense?
This, in disaster.
Well, I don't know
Alice
what section
Clark
are they
should
in.
be in that too.
Service administration.
They would be, they might be, I don't know, Alice Clark or Clarence Coppage. All the time. Well, they are the 2 leaders in the community in this nursing disaster, that's why I suggested.
I don't recall them as gone.
I thought Coppage had gone. I don't recall
No,
them members.
today.
She really
I'm not
would be
sure.
really
I
good.
can't remember all. I don't recall their names.
Is Alice Budd?
Yes, Alice
a member?
Budd.
She
Yes.
certainly
Yeah.
needs to be
Alice
on
Budd.
And Miss Mace's name, Miss Garland, who has done a lot of work in this area.
She's on the national.
I've been on the national for 4 years, so don't
Better
give me
make
that.
it.
I nominate Mary Stodgel.
Yeah, Mayor Stigel is good.
I thought you were over
If I may
Did you nominate Ms. Garland for chairman of that?
No,
No,
Well, I'd like for you.
she named somebody for chairman.
Oh, who did?
Alice Bud.
Oh.
Alice Bud.
We have Gladys Garland, Alice Bud, Mayor Stodgel. And if I might have you consider one person, Nancy Johnson. She's a relatively new graduate and has co-chaired the local Red Cross Disaster Nursing Subcommittee and is fixing, I hope, to chair it. So she's my co-chairman. So Nancy is a very conscientious young worker and has worked locally with the Red Cross disaster.
I'd like to suggest Frances Hamlin too, because she sure helped me with civil defense.
She said she didn't want to be on nothing.
Frances, you can be on this one.
I'm on one of
What happened to those first two names you mentioned? Do we decide on that matter?
She said, and
She's on the program, by virtue for office,
Yes.
the chairman bid.
All right, unless there are
It doesn't matter,
other
we got
names, we have 5. We have one special committee, still the Committee on Professional Practice. And last year, I don't believe we named chair and members, but I don't believe we ever had got them together. And no. Thank God I asked them again. We had as chair Margaret Ryan, and as members Verdell Bellamy, Joyce Weissel, Myrtle Lott, Martha Davis, Carrie Pierce, and Helen Pearson.
I nominate Jackie Graves as chairman.
What is that, Committee on Professional
Professional
Practice?
practice.
Evelyn Rowe.
She all steamed up.
How about Joe Goodson?
I
Like nominate Sarah Helen Kilgore.
I'd like to nominate Merle Lott. Oh, can she be on it again?
Yes.
I'd like to nominate Frances Hembry.
Frances Hembry.
Ernestine Kelsey.
And Olga Jones. Olga, O-L-G-A.
Jones.
All right. May I read the names? Jackie Graves, chair. Evelyn Rowe, Joanne Goodson, Sarah Helen Kilgore, Merle Lott, Frances Hembry, Ernestine Kelsey, and Olga Jones.
We've got too many.
We have 8. We named 7 last time. Now, that does complete our list as far as the special committees. If you will bear with us just one moment, we'll move back to the program standing program committee, and have a final vote on that. Ms. Hammond, could you please give us a report?
There were a total of 15 official votes cast. For Ms. Helen Pearson, 11. For Ms. Sandra Mott, 14. Miss Marie Gamage, 14. Mrs. Mabel Sherlin, 15. And Miss Jean Alford, 6. Respectfully submitted.
Then the chair declares Mabel Sherlin, Mary Gamage, and Sandra Mock. As, and Helen Pearson. We needed 4. Very good. As members of the program committee with Ms. Hammond as chair, the elected chair. Now, I believe that completes our standing committees in keeping with our bylaws, and I believe we should have a final approval of the standing committees as elected. We've named these people, but our bylaws states that we elect them, so could we have a motion to elect them as named?
I move that we accept the committees as named.
We have the motion to accept the committee members as named, and a second. Is there any discussion? Then all in favor of the motion to accept the members as named to standing committees, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Then they are so elected. Now, we would need to do the same with our special committees. Accepting that, yes, our bylaw says we elect our special committees too, so we need the same for our special.
I move that we accept the special committees as named. Instead of saying on their own.
Is there a second?
Yes, Sister on it.
All right. We have the motion that we accept for members, the special committees members as named, and a second. Is there a discussion? Then all in favor of so electing as named, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Then the special committee members as named will be are elected. Now, our executive secretary, remembering last year the headaches that we did encounter, I don't know how the members would care to react to this, or if they would care to react, has wished to know if we might have additional names for any of these members that declined. As you all recall, we were to start last March getting our committees duly appointed, because we will from here notify all of the person's name, and then some do decline. What is your wish, that we bring this back at our next meeting and appoint alternative names or names to fill the position, or what's your pleasure?
I think that would be better.
We'd like for us to bring them back.
Because maybe in the meantime, if we knew who it was, we could contact people. I never liked to use it by his name.
Well, now that's gonna set it up for 2 months.
Well, we came back in November, we came back in January, there were always at least 4 to 5 more, and by that time, half of your year is over with. We thought maybe if you want to take those you've already mentioned today that were not elected, to use to...
We may need to discuss this a little bit more. You know, in our November meeting, we've been avoiding the bylaws and having not a board meeting nor a regular scheduled meeting. We've had a friendship meeting. It's called our social friendship type meeting. Now, if we adhere to the our bylaws, it does call for a November meeting. And we would have a board meeting at that time, if my interpretation is correct of this.
Could we change the date of our meeting?
And I should say also, there's a conflict in the convention, state convention. This would call for our regular meeting to fall on the second Thursday, which is November 10th. And it's at the time of our state convention. I did talk with a parliamentarian as to how do we follow bylaws and at the same time handle such a situation as we're in. And she says as far as ease in moving through this is have a meeting or let the meeting come up and simply not have a quorum. But now this would...
Or just adjourn to meet at another time.
Yes.
Then
Put
you
it
can
up
satisfy
later.
bylaws.
To satisfy our bylaws, this is what we're discussing at this point, I believe. Then, if we have a board meeting in November, we'd come back here and have answers to many of these possibly.
Ms. Pope, I believe it says in our bylaws, 4 members of the board of directors, one of whom shall be the president or vice president. Maybe one of those couldn't be there, they couldn't have a meeting.
Both of them would possibly be that.
Yes.
Could it be
But-
moved up this 1 week?
But the
later?
point is that you can't just automatically change it. You can't just do away with the bylaw, you see.
If we don't have a quorum, why we
If
couldn't
the
have a
quorum
meeting,
isn't
and one of
here,
the
you couldn't
vice
have it.
presidents or the
That's right.
president has to be
You
there, so
couldn't
we
have
not
it.
have a quorum.
That's right.
And I'll be at the convention, I'm positive. Would you?
Madam Chairman,
Would you?
I wonder if it would be possible to change
You could be
the
absent,
date of the
couldn't you?
meeting. Would that be a conflict with the
Week after the
bylaws?
It specifies
Yes.
second Thursday.
The bylaws are binding here, and we certainly need to give some attention to this in our with our new bylaw committee, because we are bound to the second Thursday. Now the time, the hour, and the place is left to this body to decide.
Where did you say that?
Under Article 13, Section 2.
Just wanted to see.
Could we have a social?
Not that I doubted anybody, but I
A
just
social
wanted-
in Athens, Georgia, at 4:30 on November 11th, 5th District.
Well, I think that would
Fifth
be
district
wrong.
social, I think that's a good idea.
Oh, I think it
So
is.
you have to have it
It says a time and place decided upon by the association.
Maybe we can have you pay for
That's good thinking.
We could always serve water and cookies. Yeah.
We do need to satisfy our
You
rule
would take
here.
care of it in Athens to have a specified time on that day?
Now, your board, your regular meeting of the board of directors shall be held preceding the regular district meeting as decided upon by the board or as called by the president. So now you could have that board in 2 weeks if you wanted to,
The week
you
before.
see. Or the week before, or anything like that.
Well,
In
Ms.
other
Atkins
words,
had said she needed the board meeting to get those names, and I share that concern.
think that's a good idea.
Or can we have the board meeting on as our regular Monday afternoon before, and finish up our committee appointments and any business
Somebody be there then?
on Tuesday, Monday afternoon?
The board, the executive board convention will meet on Tuesday.
Yes.
Well, what's the first Monday in November, what's that day?
It would be November 7th.
Oh, yeah, we won't be there.
The
No,
board, we're going on Tuesday, the board meets on Tuesday.
Well, we met on
Mm-hmm.
Monday night.
Monday afternoon at 4:30, our
Go to
usual
Athens,
hour.
Tuesday morning, get the hour for the board meeting.
Does that seem then in order that the board will meet
In the morning to get
on
through.
Monday, November 7th, in keeping with our bylaws. I'm really entertaining this get-together in Athens at 4:30 on Thursday, November 10th.
Oh, I think it would be wonderful.
You don't know the schedule of the convention.
I don't
yet,
know
so what's
the
gonna be
convention
coming up?
program just now.
Majority of the membership would be here in Atlanta.
Pardon?
The majority of the membership would be in Atlanta, and you know it.
I think that one ought to go to Athens. We'd have a lot of fun.
What's the date?
That wouldn't keep those.
I'm really at a loss as to how we can handle this, because, if we certainly send out our notices of the meeting, that if this is our program, then I'm almost, I'm certainly committed to the point that I feel I should be there, if there would be members attending.
May I ask the parliamentarian, I know you said we were bound, but when it conflicts with a state thing, couldn't we postpone it to a later date at
How
any
you gonna
point?
postpone bylaws?
Well, then we better change the bylaws. Sure
That's
enough.
what Ms. Polk
Yes,
said.
and
We
get
need
it
to
corrected.
give direction
I
here.
think here, in this instance, it would be an emergency, more or less, that it'd be in conflict with that, and you would have to provide for emergency meetings. You could have 3 feet of snow out there on the second Thursday sometime. And there again would be another emergency, you see, that you would need to change be able to change your meeting.
Mhm.
Right.
And that's one thing that should be corrected in when the bylaws are rewritten.
Flexible.
Sure.
But on the other
Like,
hand, it certainly would be bad for a meeting to be, and not have any officers here and have people come down when there would be no meeting. 'Cause it takes a lot of time to come to a meeting.
Or inhumane.
It is. But that's what I'm saying, when you have something like this, I don't know. And you couldn't change these bylaws, even if you were meeting, a regular meeting, you couldn't change them with a unanimous vote. They are binding that law. You couldn't change them with a unanimous vote, the way your bylaws are written. Anything you do has to go to the state bylaw committee first.
That came up in May when we had to have 2 meetings in one day and a party, which was a very great hardship. I listened to the record this morning.
You could postpone the party.
And, no, we had the business meeting down at the other place and then went down for the Nurse of the Year program that night, and it was very difficult, trying to be in both places.
Madam President, now, the place and the time is at the discretion of the,
This body, this
well,
board.
would it not be the kind thing for us to stage a meeting in, the convention city for this time? I think it would, and publicize this properly, and then we would know if we did not have the privilege to go to the convention, to stay at home and attend to our business. Let the people who are at the convention go ahead and attend to this, satisfy bylaws.
Well, there'll be a large percent of the 5th District nurses there, I bet you. Probably would be no business transacted.
The only problem here, I don't know the program. I do not know,
But
I've
you'll know
not
soon,
seen.
and you get the
Yes.
announcement out then, and you just set aside if it's a time.
Well, if something else is scheduled, everybody in Athens from 5th District will know that something else is scheduled and they won't be there, but that isn't working a hardship on Athens, on people there, because they'll know not to go to the meeting. But if you post the meeting here in Atlanta, they'll not know not to come to the meeting, and they'll come, and it is a hardship here. But we'll all be down there, or a good many will be down there that will know not to go to that one if something else is already scheduled. Then nobody will come down here, not have to sit here and then not have a meeting.
Well, you can
It's
do
not good, but it
two
is.
things. You can have show our film
those who belong and invite them to come on and have a meeting here and then have us a meeting in Athens too if you want to.
You still have to have a president or vice president, they'll have a quorum.
We could have a
Sure
program
will.
meeting here and still not have to have enough members. Those that came could have the program, no business.
No business.
That should
Nurses
be
who
adjourned
belong.
to another time.
If they wanna
Maybe
come.
that's a good idea.
Cause you'd have 15-minute film, they wouldn't lose anything by going, and
I think someone would enjoy seeing it.
Maybe that's what we need to entertain. Have the meeting, if this is what the group wishes, have the meeting and have a film showing a program which is geared to ANA membership, district membership. And then for those who came, there would not be a quorum. Undoubtedly there would not be, but they would have the program without the business. Is that appropriate?
Will the president and the vice president and the second vice president all be in Athens?
I will be, and I'm the first vice president. I can speak for myself.
I had intended to be.
Miss Hammond could be a good one on that.
It's hard to transact business when you
It
don't
seems
know
rather
what
strange to me that if we're a part of the state organization, that, we would be meeting as a section here. I certainly think that what Ms. Hammett said and Ms. Pope in the beginning, that we should try not to conflict with the state association. That there, would it be in order to make a motion that a meeting be scheduled in Athens, as Ms. Pope can fit it into the schedule for those from the 5th District that are there? I would like to put that in the form of a motion.
It would have to be on that particular date.
On that particular day,
Yes.
at the time that is appropriate according to the schedule.
Then we would circulate to the members that might be in Athens that this would be the time and the place of the meeting, right?
But you have to
Circulate
circulate
all
the
the
whole,
membership.
the whole membership.
Yes, that's
And then if they
then
wanted to
members
go,
get
they
there.
could go just for that particular thing.
I hear now, so you gotta go to Athens for a meeting.
That's
what we
owned
said.
by the association.
We may have to run a
Association, which case do you have to?
We may have our
You got a
social
job
party
already.
or friendship gathering for November after all.
We might arrange for a breakfast or.
Would this time and place have anything to do, as a deterrent,
They know it.
us having this meeting, it says by the association,
Somebody here.
instead of the president?
The association set the time at 4:30 for our meetings at the last annual meeting, instead of alternating between the 4:30 and the 7:30. So that's why I left it off on this, on the agenda there. Heretofore, we've always set time and place. But the membership did that because there was quite a debate about it at 4:30.
Well, if Miss Hammett's gonna be here, she could handle the business if there's any. Or they might not, most of the people would be at the convention, probably very few might be here, and then somebody could move if they adjourn.
Well, ma'am, I don't have any right to before, but could I just say something? If you have a meeting here, and if Ms. Hammett is here, I think that it would be of interest to know who's on the committees, you know, that, to the general membership and that type thing, that could be done, then along with this, film, if you wanted to, and the time probably wouldn't be wasted. Then you could adjourn to meet at a later time in November, you see, and then you would have what has come from the convention, and the two meetings would make up the November session.
That would be a good chance.
Could we circulate this as
That'd be real
or
good, 'cause
circulate
you have to wait so
information
long
that
after the
this is a
convention
program
anyway.
meeting rather than a business meeting?
I mean, not to
Or does
adjourn,
it
to
call for
recess,
it as a
wouldn't you?
business
It's,
meeting?
it's,
Madam Parliamentarian, wouldn't you recess to meet in another?
you
later
fix the time to which to adjourn, your highest ranking motion. And I move that when we adjourn to meet such and such a Thursday in November, which is your highest ranking motion. If it carries, then you would meet on that Thursday. And the two meetings would make up this November.
Well, that'd be better than trying to meet in that.
It sure would.
That Athens meeting,
The,
they're not gonna do that.
And I'd hate to be committed to give you a quorum. Every member should have a right to be at the
Regular
annual meeting. And if I can get my passport, I'd try to go.
Somebody just called it a program.
If you were not here, then they just couldn't have a meeting.
We can vote.
See, they would have
and
to.
then they're meeting then,
That's right.
and
They
then
could have
she
the
would
program
have
though,
this
Miss Hannah.
because of the interest that all of the members would want to know what's happened at the convention.
Well, you were trying to.
We have a motion, I believe, I don't know if it's in order or not.
But Ms. Hammond did not
The
choose
second
to
meeting could
be
be a
obligated to be
friendship,
here on that date, and
dinner
I
or
could see
something,
that she
and then
wouldn't be, but if
take
you were
care
not
of-
here, then they would have the program anyway.
of any business that was, excuse
I
me.
think this motion, if it's in order, should be voted
Well, I
on.
think, the motion reads that the November meeting of the Fifth District be posted, in Athens at the time and place not conflicting with the state convention in session. I think, Ms. Hasty, and, Sister Lewis Mary, since we discussed this, I believe we are committed to 4:30 by the membership. So we have little leeway here.
Can you change?
Well, did they say the place too? Did the association name the place?
No,
At the time
We
and
need
place
it on.
decided upon by the association.
Yeah, but it has to be decided by the
membership of
association.
the association voted at the last annual meeting that this be at 4:30 p.m.
Now, wouldn't not this take precedence over the state convention then? So, even though something else was scheduled there, if you remember the district and it was announced, the president either have to declare she had a quorum or not.
I believe
Want me to
because
change
we,
the motion to read at 4:30?
Well, they already named it.
it would require this and would in turn conflict with the state convention possibly. We do not know the program.
Well, then, did the association name the place?
Yeah, no, the hour only.
Go ahead and schedule a meeting here. And if it's not a quorum, they can.
We are
meeting.
discussing this, trying to see how we can do it. I'm not dispensing of your motion or avoiding it as to how we can best move through this with the membership.
See, this one,
Even though it's
this
a quorum
one
or not, they can
decided
do
upon
that,
by
can't
the association, not by the board.
Yes. So parliamentarian,
Conflicting in the board with.
The board can't even decide
Well,
the place.
what's wrong about it?
It says, now,
you wish to withdraw it. Does the membership wish to entertain what the parliamentarian has given us as maybe an alternative? A meeting, the regular meeting, here at the time 4:30 is already named, and choose a place and have it a more or less program meeting, following which the meeting would be adjourned.
Somebody can, if they have a quorum, they can make the motion to meet at a certain time.
even if they don't have a quorum.
I was gonna
they
ask
can-
that
they
question,
can-
even if they have a quorum or not, they can
If
make
the
that
quorum is
motion.
not present, that's one of the own, can't make but three motions, you know, when you don't have a quorum.
What's that?
To recess, to adjourn, and fix the time at which to adjourn. I'm not supposed to teach you.
No, but I've got to.
Recess and,
To adjourn and fix the time to which to adjourn, your three high ranking motions.
And you can do that when you don't have.
No
a
quorum, that's the only thing you can do.
See, I've learned.
May I
Me
ask a
too.
question?
Yes,
If
Ms. Hayes.
we go on and let the meeting be here when it's scheduled, this would not necessarily commit any of these officers to have to be here when they would want to be in Athens.
I can't, I say that now.
I would not think so.
This
I
would not
think
commit
that-
Ms. Hammett to be here in case she It's gonna be
No.
in Athens.
No, I think it commits Miss Atkins and I to have someone to see that the members that would attend this meeting, that there's someone there
To show 'em the movies.
do something and at least explain to the members.
You can invite Ms. Wood if she is going with her membership committee, that'd be a good time for her to show
Yes.
a program.
We would feel some commitment to this point, I would answer it in that respect.
Well, if there was a quorum at that meeting and Miss Hammock was here to conduct the meeting, that would end the meeting for the month.
No,
Well, why couldn't it?
but it could end it, but
We
that's
don't
what
wanna
I'm
end
talking
it.
about, if you didn't want it to end it.
Well,
it
but I'm
could be-
saying, if they did have, it could
Yes,
end it until the
could end,
January meeting.
Yes, it
Unless
could end.
somebody
Well, I
made the
think that'd be
motion.
good, because Christmas is coming and things like that, and people don't have time for so many meetings. That is, if there was a quorum
But-
of the meeting.
The only thing I think about wanting to know what happened at convention, what came back.
But we can have that in January.
Then it would carry
Or if
its
we
wheel
have a
in the spring, like the
friendship
officers
dinner,
do
then
in
it could be
committees.
given, or a friendship get-together, it could be given at that time, instead of having a, well, we could have a musical program, but the president give that to the members.
Then, we would have mutual agreement and consent here that we'll have the regular meeting, regular board meeting and the regular meeting. And that, Mrs. Atkins and I will be committed enough to help those members that might come to such a meeting move through it in some way. Is that, in order?
That wouldn't tie the program chairman down if she didn't wish to be tied
That's
down,
correct.
would it?
That's correct.
If the group that was here though didn't happen to bring up to have a meeting later or voted down to have a meeting later, like if they felt like Ms. Mays, then
If the quorum was here, that's all
if
right.
the quorum was there,
What
they
makes the
might have.
quorum, so we would be sure?
Or even if the quorum isn't there, you said they
Well,
should.
the officers aren't gonna be here, you have to have one, so you need to work out.
It's immaterial, they still could vote not to have a
And
November
four
meeting.
members of the board of directors. You must have four members, one of whom shall be the president or vice president.
And if they all gonna be
And
in Athens.
25 members.
Well, we'll get them.
So you see, you have to have 29 here. One must be a president or a vice president.
Miss English or I want them to
29.
be here.
I don't think we'd have any trouble.
On this tab, it says a vice president.
We're gonna have.
You going to
We're gonna do.
Now then, if they're not here, the secretary's here, she would call the meeting to order if, and then you would make this motion to, fix the time to which to adjourn. No quorum, you see. If none of these three, if either one of these three aren't present. It's
Now, how
automatically
many's
no
going to
quorum.
the convention?
Well, I feel
Everybody?
obligated to go. Really do.
Miss Stanley, are you going to the convention?
I don't think so, I'm not sure, I'd be on vacation.
Would that be 1, 2, 3, now who else?
To the convention.
That we get the 4 officers. Are you going to the convention? Well, then you'll be present. That's good, we've got that.
All right, we found out, I don't think we need to take a vote unless there's some dissension here, regarding we're really following bylaws. We've had a discussion about how we follow the bylaws.
Madam Chairman, before we move from that, setting the place, do we wanna continue to have our board meetings here next year? And
Yes, we
regular
do need
meetings
to
in the
decide
auditorium?
that.
If they
Place
let
of
us.
meeting. They've been very kind to have us meet here. Is this, the place that the board would wish elect to continue to meet?
They was meet
As long as they have us. So they don't think they'll put us out. We got sister
Are
on
there
the
any
board.
other suggestions or
That's why we keep one of them on the board.
recommendations? Then we will continue to meet, at St. Joseph.
Earnestly implored, St. Joseph.
Yes, earnestly.
At 4:30, the time has been fixed for us. Then we,
No.
uh,
She's good.
the next on the agenda is to, appoint our parliamentarian and legal counsel. And if I might speak just a moment here, last year we did elect to have Mrs. Lewis serve as our parliamentarian, and for the sake of those who are new to the board, the board had us more or less elect or appoint Mrs. Marjorie Thurman, attorney, to represent us in any legal communications or counseling that we would need. We have had only a letter for communications or clearance directed to our attorney, Mrs. Thurman, Marjorie Thurman, and of course our parliamentarian has been here almost all of our meetings, and this is what we need to do at this hour is to reappoint or make the appointments of parliamentarian and legal counsel.
Would our present parliamentarian continue in this capacity?
I will if you will excuse me from the November board meeting, because I'm gonna be in Athens.
I think that'd be wonderful.
And I'll be there on Monday.
Mrs.
Could we
Lewis
possibly do without her that November
has been
meeting?
asked to participate as the parliamentarian, I believe, at the state convention. So, you see, we could have had that meeting in Athens and had a parliamentarian.
I think that's what we should have done.
So, is there discussion or,
I'll be
have
glad
your
to
wish?
leave the room if somebody tries to say that don't have parliamentarian, you make me stick to the bylaws.
I think it's time we give a vote of appreciation.
Well, I think that speaks for itself, and I'm sorry, I'm such a, if you'll pardon the slang, lousy presiding officer that I really can appreciate probably almost as much as you all can, having me for your presiding officer, the support that a parliamentarian has been. It's certainly helped me in much of the business and undertaking, and I personally feel will lend much support to this organization in getting our bylaws that they're functional to the point that we are not tied to a binding statement. And we will be delighted to have you continue, Mrs. Lewis, as our parliamentarian. And then would we like to speak to Mrs. Thurman as our legal counsel?
I move that Ms. Thurman be retained as legal counsel if the president sees necessary to have one. Is that what you want?
Yeah, please, if that's, we have a motion to retain, and it has been seconded, to retain Mrs. Marjorie Thurman as legal counsel. Is there discussion? And all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. By saying no, then she is so appointed. We come now, and we have had no fees involved. I should report as far as Mrs. Thurman has been, and I should report that also. And we did have, for information, that there are established fees, attorney fees, which we would be involved with her in the event we needed such counseling. We need to appoint a chaplain. I believe Ms. Hammett has served in this capacity for the past year, and we're appreciative. We need now to give consideration for this
I'd like to ask Ms. Hammett to continue to serve and
motion for that Ms. Hammett continue to serve. And a second, I think we need here, mutual, consensus of the, support. All in favor of maintaining Ms. Hammett as chaplain, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And Ms. Hammett, we so appoint.
That was you right, Emma. Or did they second it?
I had a second, yes. Then we have, appointments of the auditors. This is, the annual, an annual consideration. And I believe, Ms. Atkins, do I need to ask you to speak to that?
Well, I talked to Mr. Hurst this morning. They've been giving us new people for the last 2 or 3 years, but he is the supervisor of it. He's thoroughly familiar with all of our books and all of our papers, and he says that we are certainly to call him for any information we want to on income tax or anything else. If he did our audit, he'd have to charge us a great deal more, but if the young man that did it last year, under his supervision, that he would certainly give us any counsel as far as the auditing is concerned, or legality of any of the income tax. He's thoroughly familiar with our, been, I don't know how many years, but with our nursing affairs.
This is the Young and Garber company.
Mr. Hurst met with Mr. Jackson and Mr. Smith. I referred to it on the record we had before, where they had gotten us through with the Labor Department and is familiar with having gone through that, which could be in jeopardy at any time as far as nonprofit business is concerned.
You were pleased with the report?
Well, I wasn't pleased with the young man, Mr. Tillman, last year, because he put us $2,000 in the rear, but he didn't understand our policy, and when they did the audit over, he was brand new, he didn't know exactly how we worked, so I wanted to call and ask about him. And Mr. Hurst said that he would personally supervise it. It was just one of those little mistakes that happened in not understanding our bookkeeping, which is a little different from the average people.
And he said
we stayed
I'm glad that's the truth.
Mr. Smith has gone to Lockheed, and they train under Mr. Hurst. He supervises. I mean, he said if he did it, it would cost us considerably more. As a supervisor, he would have to. But that he would assure us that he would check it, and that little error would not occur again. It was the only one that happened. This man was new here.
Then what is the members' wish on this? Do we wish to retain them or give considerations to others?
What was the name of the man that's not the supervisor?
Mr. Hurst, Willard Hurst. He's been doing the register for years and doing us for years. I don't know how many years. Since
He
long
wants
before
to
I
raise
began.
his pride.
No. If he did it himself personally, he's the head man down there as far as the supervisor is concerned. And I called to see if we could get the same person, not get a new person, which we'd had for the last 3 years. A new one, it looked as if we were training them. But he assured us that he would check ours, and that we were at liberty to call him at any time for information. And he's thoroughly familiar with what we've been doing.
Well, maybe with 3 years' experience, we've taught him.
Well, somebody new would be much worse. I mean, in other
Yeah,
words,
just think about that too, you'd have to start all over.
Yes.
Be like
Ms. Atkins,
probation.
you're willing to accept him again?
Yes,
Is
I
that-
certainly would. I think he
I
would
move
even be more,
acceptance of our
he would be
previous
even
auditor.
more careful with us.
Mr.
And
Hayman,
They
that
are.
his name.
Mr. Tillman was the new man last year. Mr. Smith went to Lockheed, and he was the person that had been doing it for years as well.
Young and Garber is the company. So, you move that we continue to have Young and Garber as the auditor.
Oh, she's got one, thanks.
Do we have a second?
That's good.
All right. We have a motion to continue using the Young and Garber auditors for 1966-67. If you give us the dates on those, Miss